Welcome to your laboratory of PLSC 795, Field Design 1. This is Anna Heilman speaking. Today, we are going to be learning some few tricks in Excel. Please join me. To be able to download the materials for this class, please go ahead and go into one of your favorite browsers and look for www.ndsu.edu/faculty/Horsley. Once you get there, please scroll down and get into the section that contains the materials for PLSC 795. In there, I would like you to please go ahead and download the information for the exploring data using Excel. Once downloaded, go ahead in the folder and search what it is and double-click it. And this will bring you into this dashboard. Enable editing. And then please go ahead and click on the Welcome tab. This will bring you to this particular information in here that is welcoming you to this field design lab. Some of the things that we are going to do today include, first of all, click into the strategy button. We are going to learn the basic sorting and the use of filterings, utilizing the data that we have on the left-hand side that correspond to experiment 5 in 2017 for the barley breeding program from Dr. Richard Horsley. The second thing that we are going to do is utilize some descriptive statistics to identify information coming from this data. The third thing that we are going to do is conditional formatting for the tables, and we are going to do some visualizations utilizing Excel, moving or copying tabs, and utilizing pivot tables to summarize and to aggregate information. With that in mind, one of the first things that I want you to do is please go ahead and select this table. You can do it in two ways. You can put your cursor in the cell A7, and I am going to make this bigger. Put your cursor in cell A7 and do Control A as an apple, Control A for those that utilize Windows, or just scroll, utilize the scrolling function and selection function, and then do Control Copy or Control C for Windows, or just right click it and copy this particular table. The next thing that I want you to do is please go ahead on File, click under New, and create a blank workbook. Do not paste the information yet. Some of you might want to immediately paste it as utilizing the command Control V as a victory, but what I want you to do is paste it as values. If you don't know how to paste as values, please go into cell A1, right click it, and paste in values utilizing this option that says 1, 2, 3. So you can see now that we don't have absolutely any type of format. The next thing that I want you to do is put your cursor in A1, go under your Home tab, and then on the right-hand side, please go into the Sort and Filter. In here, you are going to find an option that is called Filter. So filters in Excel are great tools. You can see in here, when you display or utilize that drop-down menu, there is many options in there, from sorting to sorting by color, or to identifying what type of information you have in there. So as you can see in here, we have 3 blocks. Block is equivalent to replications in this experiment. Then we have the column entry, and then we have, you can see that our minimum number is 1 and our maximum number is 27. So the filters help you to organize your numeric data from the smallest to the largest. Then you can go ahead on the column plot, and then you can see that our minimum number is 2701 and our maximum number is 2781. As you can see in here, we don't have any empty spaces. One of the things that you can do when you are utilizing the filters is that you can filter out some options if you want to identify some particular attributes of your data. So in the example in here, I am filtering by all the individuals or all the rows that are in block or rep number 1. So if you do that, then you can see how many uh, rows do you have in the data. So what to do with that, I am putting my cursor in the column B. And then as you can see in the lower side of Excel, in this panel, you can see that I have a count of 28 rows. You can also do that by putting your cursor in the first cell and then utilizing the Control, Shift, and down arrow. And then that tells you, without having the headings, that you have 27 rows in block 1. We can do the same things for block 2 and then identify how many rows do we have in that rep 2. And you can see that I have 27 rows of information. And I can do the same for for rep 3. And again, I repeat, for doing this, you can use the Control Shift down arrow. Once we have identified that this data seems to be pretty balanced, the next thing that we can do is let's go and do some sorting. For that, then please put your cursor in the cell A1 and do Control A as an apple. Control A, select all your data for that particular uh, file in this Excel, let's say, arrangement. And what I want you to do is go to this cell in here and put a name for that arrangement of data. And for that, we are going to utilize, let's say this is barley. Once we have named all this data as barley, the next step that I want you to do is select the data and go into this sort and filter option and go and do custom sort. So custom sort will help you to sort data by columns or by rows. This first option, we are going to be sorting the information by rows, and we are going to add labels. So the first thing that we want to do is, let's organize the data by block or rep. Let's add a level, and we are going to organize the data by, let's say, entry number. And we are going to do it in the order from the smallest to the largest. Then click OK. You can see in here that now our data is organized by 1, 2, and 3. The block is consecutive, and it is also consecutive by each one of our entry numbers. Remember that entry has a relationship one-to-one with the column D as name. So how do I know that? Please go ahead, go to the column entry and filter out all the options, and then select any of the entries, let's say entry number 6. And then you can see that entry number 6 corresponds to the name S6M171. You can do that for several of the options for the different entries, for the 27 entries that we have in there. The next thing that I want you to learn today, and for that we will remove all the filters in here. Please go ahead and select your table and with Control A, and then go ahead and clear all those filters. Once you clear the filters, you can also remove those filters. So then just select the option, Control A, and then take the filters out. What I want you to do is to insert a new row on top of the one that contains the names. Once you have inserted that row in row 1, then now we are going to start putting some random numbers. So we have 15 columns, so let's start, let's say, putting this number 1 in here, and then we want After that, we want the plot number. Let's say it's number 2. Name is number 3. Let's say that entry is going to be number 4. Experiment number 5. And number 6 is the location. Number 7 is the year. And let's say that the P range and P row, it's going to be 8 and 9. But now we are going to get into the traits that we are collecting for this particular trial. So then let's say that we want to see the next thing that we want to see is yield immediately. So it would be 10. Then height would be 11. Heading date is would be 12. Stem breakage it would be 13. And then the next two ones it would be 14 and 15. What I would do is kind of like a center those numbers utilizing this option, and I would like to put them in red. Once we do that, please select all the table and utilize the option custom sort, then go into options, and then you are going to sort left to right and click OK. Then tell the program that you would like to utilize that new row that you created with the numbers as the row 1, and that it sorts all your columns based on that particular order that you define in there. So then when you are doing this, I am deciding to do in the smallest to the largest, and I am saying OK. And there we go. Now we have the columns in the order that I wanted to have them. Once you have removed that first row that contains the number for the order in which we wanted our columns, the next thing that we are going to do is some data analysis, especially for getting some descriptive statistics. For that, I would like you to go to the Data tab, and in the Data tab, check if you might have this data analysis. If you don't see it in there, one way to bring it up is right-clicking on the area that is empty or the grayed out area in here, right-click it and customize the ribbon. Then go into the add-ins, click on Excel add-ins and go. Then make sure that you click on the Analysis Toolpack and click OK. And you should bring that data analysis in there. So what we just want to do maybe some descriptive statistics on some of these traits that we have in here. So let's start by checking out a little bit on the yield. Let's go and click on Data, Analysis, and then you can see that there are several options in there, but the one that we want is the descriptive statistics and click OK. Then in here, you are going to select the input range for which you want to analyze or have some descriptive stats. In my case, I wanted to do it for the yield. So then you can select including the heading and scroll down or with the Control Shift down arrow to select that whole range of data. And then you can group by column. Make sure that you click this in here that say labels in the first row are in the first row. And then in my case, I like to put the information for the descriptive statistics in a new worksheet. Once you do that, I would like to utilize the option Summary Statistics and then click OK. And there we go. Now we get in the sheet number 3 here, or sheet number 2 for you. You can put or name it as descriptive stats. And you can continue doing the same for other traits as you wish. So you can see in here that we have mean, standard error, the median, the mode, the standard deviation, sample variance, some other type of descriptive statistics that will come really handy. Another thing that I like to do, as you can see in here, I named my tabs descriptive stats. I like to have my original data, like a call as data. And then I can always refer to that particular data anytime. The next trick that I want to teach you is how to use the format your table. So for that, please go ahead and select all your table, go to the Home tab, and in there you will find an option close to these colors or styles that is called Format as Table. You can choose in there the style that you prefer. I like greens, so there you go. So immediately after I select that, the data range, and I tell the program that my table has headers, I click OK. And immediately this brings this nice color table with also some filters. Let's say that you didn't want that particular color. What you can do is select the table again with Control A, and then you can go into the Home menu, and then you can go to that option that I see here that it looks like an eraser, a pink eraser, and drop down menu and clear formats. So then you can go back and format your table, and you can select format the table with other color that you want. All right, the next thing that we are going to learn is about how to use conditional formatting. For example, breeders might be interested in to identify which of these lines in here are maybe, like a producing more or yielding more. So one thing that they can do a little bit as a colorful scale, they can use the conditional formatting. Once you go in there, select color scales and select the option number 1. This option, green, yellow, and red, apply the colors as a gradient on those cells, and it will indicate those cells that have higher values in green and those that have lower values in red. The option to the side, it will do the opposite. So we are going to use the option number 1 because we want to have those values that are the highest in green and the lowest in red. So this is conditional formatting. The other way that you can use conditional formatting, and for this I'm going to use this other column, heading date. You can highlight the heading date column and go to conditional formatting and color scales. If you don't like the scale on green, yellow, and red, you can utilize other column scales that are available in here, but you can also go to more rules. And in there, you can decide if you want a 2 or a 3 color scale. So if you select that format all the cells based on their values, you can select a 3 color scale. And then in here, you can select all the colors that you want. Let's say that if you want to use a red, a really bright red, and maybe this yellowish, and maybe not as green, maybe you want to use a blue. So then there we go. Here's a different scale of colors that you can utilize. Thank you for attending our class today. I hope that what I teach you today was valuable for you, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.